on a small 40-acre farm in Freeland, Maryland.
The far side borders the bike and hike, the NCR trail.
Just south of the Pennsylvania border.
Come here, bud.
Rose Brady lives a quiet life.
So Victor was born on the farm. Zach is the old guy.
It's a place
Right now I have them all in the first pasture because friends of mine are fixing fences.
where her biggest worry may just be a downed fence.
This must have been a nice retreat to come to.
Oh, it's very sanctuary.
A sanctuary that's a far cry from her former life.
So I went in to all these guys behind the desk and I said, yeah, I'd like to become a police officer.
At 18 years old, Rose found her calling with the Baltimore County Police Force.
It was all guys. Everybody was guys. I just said, nobody looked like me.
It was a boys' club she was just happy to be a part of.
My first assignment was a precinct, Essex precinct. I didn't even know where Essex was.
She didn't smoke, drink, or swear, earning her the nickname the Blue Nun.
Yeah.
But wherever she went, she vowed to blaze a trail.
I'm the female, and these are all my guys, my homicide detectives.
In 1995, she started climbing the ranks, becoming the department's first female homicide sergeant,
I was pretty much everywhere I went as a sergeant, I was probably the first female.
including the Sexual Victims Unit Rose joined in 2004, where resources were slim and cold cases were piling up with little evidence left behind.
If you didn't have somebody locked up for it, then it just got destroyed.
But one moment of pure coincidence, an everyday conversation with a friend, changed everything.
She's driving down the road and she said, so, Rose, you're still in homicide, right? I said, no, I'm over in sex crimes now. She said, really? She said, well, when are you gonna come and get Dr. B's slides? And I said, Doctor who?
It was the first time Rose had heard the name Dr. Rudiger Breitnecker, a man that would alter the course of her career.
She's telling me this, and I said, slides. It's like, could be DNA. And I said, how far back does it go? Well, if you don't think this is all weird and meant to be, 1977. I mean, that's when I came on. I said, please hold on to everything you have, every slide you have. I said, because this could be a gold mine.
And it was. The Austrian doctor's foresight to preserve the DNA of more than 2,000 sexual assaults long before DNA was ever a thing meant there was potential for justice for women who had gone much of their lives looking over their shoulder.
We still didn't know if we were going to get hits on this because how old is this?
Her team began by looking at all open rape cases dating back to 1977, and one by one, the hits started coming.
When we got the hit, it was awesome. I mean, I'm telling you, DNA was the gold mine.
Once they got a match, the victims were notified.
When they knocked on these doors, when they tracked these women down, a lot of times these women had never told their husbands, their children that they didn't have at the time, but they now do. Their families didn't even know about this.
It led Rose to develop a foolproof process ensuring justice was served. She says nearly every time her detectives met with the suspects, they'd catch them in a lie that would ultimately pay off.
And the other things I had my detectives do is see if you can get a picture of your victim when she was sexually assaulted all those years ago. And then they would always show them this picture of this woman. Do you know this woman? Nope, never seen her before in my life. They'd give them the name of this woman. No, I don't know anybody like that. The defense attorneys were trying to say these women were prostitutes. They picked them up. They were ex-girlfriends.
It was just an unbelievable time. She still didn't believe it.
Baltimore County State's Attorney Scott Schellenberger remembers the time well.
Baltimore County, with these slides, was solving cases that no one else in the country could solve.
Including the case of a prolific serial rapist who for years victimized women along the Loch Raven corridor. One of them, a friend of Rose's. And for decades, he got away with it.
I had a 78 case. I had a 77 case. Then I would get a hit on an 86 case. And then I got a hit on a 2000 city case. And again, we didn't know who it was, but the victims were all different. But the suspect, it was the same suspect.
Finally, she had a name.
I think this is our guy.
A man currently imprisoned for rape whose DNA had been collected but never put into the National CODIS database.
And I said, get a search warrant that day. And the next morning we were driving up to Hagerstown.
where they came face to face with Alfonso Hill, collecting his DNA themselves, confirming he was the man they'd been searching for.
By the time he went to trial, we had 10 cases. 8 of them he pled guilty to.
Hill was sentenced to 60 years behind bars, later linked to 24 rapes.
And what is the odds of that? What are the odds of any of this? I just think, I don't know if you believe in destiny. It was meant to be. I don't know. I can't explain it.
How many total cold cases were you able to solve with the help of Dr. B's slides?
It's like 84 cases. Most of them were Dr. B's.
It was an incredible effort, bringing closure to so many who thought their stories had been long forgotten.
I sort of grew up as a forensic pathologist, and once you save evidence, you don't like to let go of it.
Dr. Breitnecker has since passed away, but nearly 20 years ago, we spoke with him at an award ceremony. He lived to see his intuition pay off and science catch up.
Once you throw them out, there's no way to go back and say, well, get another one. And so I just thought maybe we shouldn't throw him out.
And just maybe you'd rightfully call him a hero.
Once in a while, you do something good.
We can go back pretty far, like 30 years.
Rose, too.
She was incredible. She would say things to me like, I'm going over to get more. I'm pulling more.
Described time and time again by her former colleagues as one of a kind.
She's just a bulldog. I mean, if she gets it in her mind that she wants to do something, she is going to do it, and there's nothing that's going to get in the way.
We bought this property in 1995.
Retiring in 2017 after 40 years on the job.
We made it into the cowboy bunkhouse.
These days, she's right at home in jeans and a cowboy hat.
Hey, guys.
With a pasture full of horses and mules, coincidentally, mostly boys, to keep in line.
Victor, who was born on the farm.
She keeps busy with her 6-year-old grandson and her own podcast, telling her story of a life well lived.
I've got your mints.
A story that's earned her this piece and brought the feeling to so many women.
Come on, buddy.
Like, I keep all of them.
In many ways,
There's a case number.
our memories help shape who we are.
I remember everything about it, actually.
The good, the bad,
And I just kept it all these years.
and the ones you wish you could snap a finger and forget.
I was wearing a children's nightgown.
The memories of October 13th, 1983 are a burden Laura Newman has carried now for decades.
And when I woke up, my glasses weren't on, and there was a pillow over my face.
At just 18 years old, she recalls waking up to strangers in her bed.
One person held a gun to my head. I could feel it pressed against my right temple. And the pillow was over my face. And of course, there were 2 assailants. One of them raped me, and then they left.
And she says no one believed her.
They really didn't believe that I was telling the truth, that I had staged the crime scene.
It was a living nightmare that became ingrained in the fabric of who Laura was. But she was determined to not let it become who she'd be.
I started calling the Baltimore City Police Department over and over and over. And I finally got a detective on the phone, Bernie Holthouse. They had just created a cold case unit.
2 days after speaking with the detective at BPD, she heard the words she'd been waiting nearly 2 decades for.
Well, I think we found your guy.
After 19 years, her case was solved in less than 3 days.
I was in shock. I just couldn't even believe it.
A single fingerprint led police to Alfonso Hill.
They brought him in, and he confessed, which was extraordinary.
Hill took a plea deal of 20 years, but Laura was not his first or his only victim.
So we know there's a serial rapist.
Baltimore County Police Sergeant Rose Brady didn't know it yet, but Hill was the man she'd been relentlessly looking for, connected to cold case rapes up and down the Loch Raven corridor in the 1970s.
We're going to find out who this guy is.
But it wasn't until the stroke of a pencil and a stroke of luck that she'd finally identify him.
I brought up this detective who was on light duty, and because she was pregnant, and she was also a forensic artist. And then I said, pull every case that you have sexual assault that is a stranger case in that corridor. Every case.
It's all I ever wanted to do.
Eve Grant has since retired from Baltimore County Police.
Ever since I was very little and could hold a pencil, I had started drawing.
She now owns her own tattoo shop in Pennsylvania.
I love it. It's all I want to do. I feel like I don't even work.
But she remembers that assignment from Rose like it was yesterday.
So I worked out of the Essex precinct for about 12, 13 years.
Aging a single decades-old composite of Hill.
It's time consuming, and when I was working on the sketch, I decided, well, the only real way I'm going to be able to get this done is if I work on it at home.
So she worked from her living room.
I know how much she had poured herself into getting it.
Her husband, Chris Grant, an officer at the Baltimore City Police Department, watching from the couch as she brought the unknown rapist to life.
He was aware of what I was working on, why I was working on it, and what the guy was looking like.
And it's a good thing he was paying attention. You see, days later, Chris went in for mandatory training at BPD, but the instructor didn't show up. And this is where that stroke of luck comes in.
They threw in an old 48 hours tape.
48 Hours investigates.
So they popped the tape in, and it was interesting because it was an older case.
No one believed Laura's story.
And listening to the video, it was like, well, that's interesting. That's kind of the same time frame of when these other incidents took place. The more and more you listen to it, the MO started to match up. And then the geographic location, and it's like, wow.
A sometime drug user who'd been in and out of jail for decades.
The 48 Hours episode, Cry Rape, featured Laura Newman's story.
48 Hours did a show about it.
We wanted to show Mr. Hill what the 11th commandment was. Thou shalt not get away with it.
And in it was Alfonso Hill himself.
I thought maybe finally this bad check that I wrote finally caught up with me.
They popped up a mugshot, and that just sealed the deal. I was immediately on the phone with her, asking her if he was on their suspect list.
He's like, this is your guy. Like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, I'm telling you, this is your guy.
I was glad to be caught. I wish I had gotten caught way back then.
And now he'd be caught again.
That Monday, Evelyn and Chris come walking into my office, and they're standing in my door like two kids in, a candy shop. And they've got this VHS tape, and they're saying, Sarge, we think we know who this guy is.
Rose was hopeful, but skeptical.
And I'm looking at his interview, and literally the hair went up the back of my neck, and I'm thinking, how can this possibly be? We should have got a hit on him.
Rose made a call to state police to run Hill's name through the National CODIS database, where his DNA should have been entered years ago when he first went to prison, but wasn't.
I said, get a search warrant that day. You got to get a search warrant. And the next morning we were driving up to Hagerstown.
Her team went to prison and collected Hill's DNA themselves.
Like a week later, I'm in my office and I'm sitting at my desk, and all of a sudden, all my detectives, all the biologists are upstairs. Eve, her husband, Chris, and they're all like standing in this hallway in front of my office door. And I'm looking at them, and I said, please tell me that it's him. It's him, Sarge. It's him. It was like a big party. It's him.
The next day, they brought Hill in.
Well, the only thing he said is he couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
He couldn't believe it.
I'm sure.
The way it came together was hard for Rose and her team to believe, too.
I don't know if you believe in destiny. It was meant to be. I don't know. I can't explain it.
A lot of things fell into place for it to happen, and honestly, if I didn't watch it unfold, I'd be like, no, there's no way. There's too many fluke things to have to occur, and it really did. It happened exactly like that.
Hill pled guilty to 8 rapes and was sentenced to an additional 60 years in prison, where he remains today. He later admitted to 16 more, bringing the total to 24.
The truth is that Alfonso Hill would be out now if we hadn't had those additional convictions in Baltimore County. I mean, that's given me years of safety and security.
And while Laura's memories of Hill will always be with her,
I just never gave up.
This story of justice and fate will be too.
Everything that had to happen for that to turn out that way is just incredible.
And that's a memory.
That's where he was convicted in Baltimore County.
She's okay with keeping.
That was extraordinary.